Hello, everybody. How's everyone? Hope everybody's okay. Welcome aboard to the cooking show. Oh, no, that's the wrong show. This is a shortwave show. Hey, everyone. Um, Although we could, have some kind of, we could have some kind of, video or live show is like how to use your aluminum cooking pan for an antenna. Here we go. That looks good here. Here. And here we go. Nice to have everybody on board. How to make an MLA 30 with a 30-inch cooking pan. And let's bring the vodka here. So welcome, everyone. This is, of course, the Wednesday edition of the live show. I know you guys really enjoyed the fact that I tuned the bands last Saturday, and we're going to do that quite often now. We're going to kind of have a tuning live show pretty much on the Saturday, and on Wednesday it's going to be more of a mix of questions and all sorts of things that could happen and that we want to talk about, or reminiscing about the old days, but also staying forward and looking forward. There's a lot of new people here, and let's not go back in time too much. Let's also go forward into what we have right now, what we're talking about, what we can hear, and how to hear what we want to hear. So we're gonna, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to check that out. So okay, I'm set up here. Everything looks fine. Everything looks okay. Welcome aboard to this shortwave live show. We are here twice a week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 0 hours UTC. That's Thursday for a big chunk of the world. And on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, that's 20 hours Universal Time. And you know what? We talk about radio. We tune around the bands. Last show was amazing. Propagation was just so cool and so amazing with all the signals we got. It was a lot of fun. And, we're just here to have fun with radio in general. And welcome. Everybody's welcome. And whether you're new to the hobby or, somebody has been doing it for 50 years, everybody here is respectful, and it's a great place to be if you like radio. And, might seem like an old, antiquated technology, but I can tell you that with what's happening with Ukraine, a lot of us are in the, a lot of people are in would like to have news through radio, shortwave radio, and so on. Pretty much. And the outside world and shortwave and the BBC adding new broadcasts shows that it's important to keep up. It's sad that there's not enough broadcasts, that Radio Canada International doesn't have the Ukrainian shortwave service it used to have. That would have been probably very useful right now. But you know what, radio is really, really here to, especially shortwave radio, it's here to show you how important it is. How many of us have been monitoring the buzzer on 4625 and checking out all the weird things happening there? It's obvious that it's kind of cool to check that out and to just monitor what's happening on the bands. Okay. Sorry. So we have a chat room, which is a fantastic place to be if you want to be here. And of course, you can join in if you have a Gmail account. When all the party's over here, well, we have a Facebook group, and this is where you can also go. Facebook group is the same name as the channel here, official SWL channel. And we just are here to entertain and have fun. My name is Gilles, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we are all sharing something very, very unique, which is the radio hobby. You can also join and say hello through the email, official shortwave radio at gmail.com. And let's check out if anybody has said hello through here. First of all, email. Let's check out the emails coming in. We have Elizabeth from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, saying hello and listening tonight. Happy to be here as usual. What a wonderful Wednesday evening. And thank you for what you do. Well, thank you very much. We also have Richard Lemke and says, Shortwave, a ticket to the world. And nice to have you here. Says, glad you're on the air. A different distraction for many of some different what's happening with Ukraine, and it's what's happening in our world. So let's pray for everybody, and let's hope that things go the best they can in such a difficult moment with Ukraine. Welcome aboard, Richard, in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. And we have somebody that is sending us a couple of questions, not a lot, but a few questions that are interesting. Most of them for me, but I thought that by ricochet, it would be pretty good to ask to everybody at the same time. So, and those questions come from Frank, that is in South Carolina, and that has been watching the show for the past year and really enjoys every moment. Frank, because of my videos, purchased a XH Data D808, and he says that he's surprised at how well this little rig is actually receiving signals on shortwave and even on medium wave. Thank you for all you do, and it's a great time to listen to shortwave. And then he has his list of questions that we'll go to a little later. I've also got questions. We're going to continue the questions thing tonight, learning more about all of you out there. I think it's kind of fun. Okay, James Farley from New Jersey. Nice to have you here. We have Bobby Burgess, WA5107 SWL, Morgan City, Louisiana. Robert Cross, nice to have you here. Gary 24 Fan, nice to have you on board for Northern Maine. John Hummel Newell, V5JHN, nice to have you on board. Kabaxi 1976, nice to have you on board. VE3JPX from Ottawa, nice to have you here. Dwayne, nice to have you on board from Northeast Tennessee. We have Matt MDK2 from Denver, Colorado, and tied the record high of 74 Fahrenheit. Wow. It's almost summer. Not. It's going to be snowing in the week. It's pretty much what's going to happen, probably. Rob, nice to have you on board from Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, you're reminding me of something, Matt. I like to watch the, when I watch the weather online, I always watch what's the record high and lows of the day. You kind of find it interesting to see. And in February, between about February the 20th to February the 26th, 27th, when I was still in primary school in my 6th grade, I remember, I have this memory in my head of a February that was unusually warm, and that I took out my bike, which was a yellow bike with a banana seat, and I have this memory every year around February of going out biking with my friends, and it's actually warm. And every year when we get to that range, actually we see that February of 1981 was there was a week where the temperatures were around this in the 60s for almost a week here in Montreal. So my souvenirs go back from that time when I remember that we went out biking and we had a lot of fun and it was warm for the time of year that it was. And this year, same thing. I was looking at the highs and it was like, oh yeah, it was 16 degrees Celsius and on February the 24th, 1981. I remember that. I still remember taking my bike out. There was no snow. We have memories like that pop up. But a couple of friends that I remember biking with a couple of friends that I have no contact today. Like school friends that you lost contact, and it's like today I don't know what they're doing, where they are in life. But that reminds me of that when I check that out. Rob, nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. We have David, KJ4CMY, Central Georgia. Nice to have you here. TVDXer, ça va bien? J'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. We have Charlie McKee, VE2XCC, just west of Quebec City. We have Man Max 2069. Nice to have you here from Ohio. David, nice to have you here from Central Missouri. Andy New from Bristol, UK. M7CUN. Nice to have you on board, my friend. GJW883. Nice to have you here, Southeast Pennsylvania. What else do we have? Matt says, a pirate on 6925 playing the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Let me just check it out. I haven't, let's go 6925. If anything is here. Yeah, there's some music. Oh, Radio Berlin. The guy is... I just heard Radio Berlin. It's not very strong, but he's there with the Radio Berlin International interval signal. 6925 upper sideband. So I guess somebody that is playing around some old stuff because of what's happening with Russia. Cheers, everybody. Regular drink, vodka cranberry. Brad, nice to have you on board. 3933 lower sideband is listening Panhandle traffic emergency net. So Anthony France, nice to have you here from Port Richey, Florida. West Coast, just north of Tampa. Shelly, nice to have you here from South Central Pennsylvania. We have Andy New never went to bed last night. Busy trying for QSLs on 20 meters with a small tunable indoor whip and 10 watts QRP. Had a great time. Cool. That is the fun of radio. Keegan in Northwest Arkansas, 78 Fahrenheit. Whoa. Sorry, guys. Stephen Wood from Cape Cod. Nice to have you here. Joe Gomez. Nice to have you on board. V2FGJ. Nice to have you on board, my friend. We have... let's just go down. Blind Picker, Rob, nice to have you here from Connecticut, W0RAB. J Dakota says got to 82 Fahrenheit. Wow, that is warm weather. Warm weather. What else do we have here? Let me just go down. Here we go. Beam C Bike, nice to have you on board. Et j'espère que ça va bien en Suisse. Oui, c'est toujours agréable de t'avoir parmi nous. Nice to have you on board. What do you recommend to listen to Wave to monitor what is going down there? The first thing, the BBC World Service is amazing in its coverage of what's happening. It's been quite interesting to listen to voices that were communists in the past talk about it. So, tune Radio Prague, Radio Slovakia via WRMI, tune also the Radio Romania. They've been having interesting talk and viewpoints on the situation. And it is interesting because these countries having a communist USSR empire past have a unique take on a situation. And also, I kind of find a unique, I would say maybe a situation where they're a little worried about the events happening right now. So do check that out. Check out all the frequencies in between the international broadcast bands, anything utilities. You'd be surprised at all the activity going on right now. If you're in Europe, it's even better because you're in the middle of the action, and there's been a lot of posts of a lot of activity going on, including with the buzzer that I've been monitoring through Kiwi SDRs, which is kind of interesting. Yesterday, I was listening in. I heard a few things yesterday that I've never heard before. So first of all, of course, the jamming of the buzzer. A lot of stations are like throwing all sorts of things out there. One of them yesterday was playing Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen on the signal. I heard the old Lincolnshire Poacher, which was the number stations in the past that was rebroadcast over it. And it's so funny because I had never heard that. I heard the buzzer. It was like buzzing, and it was like, and then it did like, and it stopped. And I was like, wow, I never heard that before. I never heard the buzzer stop like that. I've heard the buzzer so many times that wasn't there for a period of time, but it seems to have like a pattern now of buzzing, beeping, continuous buzz, in through some kind of a cycle in 24-hour cycle. So check that out. But the BBC, if you want to have news, particularly news about it on shortwave, the BBC World Service is amazing in the coverage that they're doing right now. Everybody's saying hello to Elizabeth. Shelly says, honestly, the first whole year I watched this channel, I didn't have my own radio and still felt at home here and learned a lot. And this is a wonderful channel and wonderful group. Well, that's what we want to do. And you don't have to own a radio. You can use online SDRs. It's not cheating. If you don't have your own radio, I consider listening to online Kiwi SDRs a fun thing to do. You're just not listening to your radio. You're still listening to shortwave because it's a radio that's listening to shortwave in different parts of the world. And the thing is, whether you own a radio or not, maybe you're in the decision of owning a radio. You haven't decided yet. Should I or not invest in buying a radio? And it's a very valid question because, as you know, shortwave today isn't what it was in the 70s, the 80s, and so on. So for some people out there, it's should I invest in a radio or not? It's not $0, and not everybody has the same purchase power. So, if you have to invest $100, well, for some people, $100 is a lot of money. Should I pay $100 for a radio? Is it worth it? Am I going to get what I want out of it? And this has more to do, I would say, with what you're looking for than what you'll find on the radio itself, because there's different types of radio listeners, and there's people out there that kind of enjoy watching what others are doing with a certain hobby or certain things, not necessarily wanting to join it, but interested in what people are doing with it. So, it's a valid thing, and I think this is where everybody is welcome, whether you have a radio or not. You won't feel different here. Frank Ireland, nice to have you here from Venice, Florida. Zen Pharaohs, following along with a whole pile of antenna toys. Drake R8, HF Less Discovery, RSP Duo, and a slice of my wife's peach cobbler, and a glass of chocolate milk. That sounds like heaven right there. Radios and something sweet to eat and drink. Welcome aboard. Mickey Dalmage is getting ready for the weekend because we're going to talk about it in a few minutes. Last chance. The links have been sent. So if we want to join, Brian Picker, Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board, my friend. David KJ4CMY, thanks for the information on Shortwave Festival. I registered and I'm looking forward to it. You're going to have a lot of fun. And actually, I hooked up a little bit with Sheldon earlier today for our presentation on Saturday. The International Radio Report will be recorded on Friday there. That's all coming up in a few seconds. George Lewandowski, nice to have you on board. K5JIN. Michael, nice to have you here. We have from New Jersey. Gene, nice to have you on board from Madisonville, Louisiana, N5WFZ. Timothy, nice to have you here. James M, nice to have you on board from Prospect, Connecticut. Brian, nice to have you here. VA7VEB. Chuck, nice to have you here from beautiful South Texas. Sunny and low 70s today. That's perfect weather. Greg, nice to have you on board, says Gilles. On Shortwave WRI, Prague Radio International last night on 31 meters. 15770 last night, and the afternoon mostly. Radio Romania and all of that. Yep, absolutely. Lots of stuff. Andy New started studying for his intermediate license. When I pass, I'll be able to wind up the Xiegu G90 to the max. Cool. Call Icon, nice to have you here in New York. Roberto Rojas says Chin Chin. Gary 24 fan, Monday evening around 0 on UT. CHU is coming in strong on 3330, 7850, Northern Maine. I rarely hear both of it. So that's cool. That is cool. I'll still remember the day that it was Eric Cottrell that is in the chat room regularly that mentioned that 14670 was actually very, very 14670 was very, very good. And it was amazing. I had never heard 14670 so good here. What else do we have? Dave, WA1UJA from New Hampshire. Nice to have you here. We have V3GPX. Anybody else having some buffering? Just out of curiosity. Dr. Sisab, nice to have you here from says aloha, and some gibber from Russia and Ukraine on 9455 kilohertz. David McCormick, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Andy News says, someone from the UK, I would trust Radio Prague in Romania rather than the BBC. Yeah, that's everybody's point of view. From a guy from North America, I can tell you, BBC is a pretty trustable source. Might not be perfect, might have had its flaws, but I think we all have our outlook on what to listen to. My Jam, nice to have you on board. Mixed Radio International, nice to have you here. J Projects, nice to have you on board. Richard, good evening. I looked at a YouTube clip from February 7, 2019 on how to make a shortwave log. You had a good idea. I am going to make a good old-fashioned paper log. Why not? It's not because we're connected and we have all this technology that a paper log is still not in something you could do. Um, Actually, one of the questions tonight that I want to answer is how I log right now, and I'll actually answer that question from our friend that sent an email today. Simon Templar, nice to have you on board, my friend. Canadian radio TV guy, on the night that Russia invaded the Ukraine, I went to check U20 Netherlands web SDR. Couldn't get on because it told me that the server was full. Yeah, they actually increased the number of people now. You can be more than 2,000 people now on the U20. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. John P. got a Texan PL 990X from Anonco. We'll get it Friday. Looking forward. We're going to have a lot of fun. Andy New. Agreed, Joe. QSLs is fantastic source for those who can't put a decent antenna up. Won't be long, guys. Somebody's ringing the doorbell. Hello. No, it's not a radio. It's some annoying selling person that wants me to change my internet connection for some other company. Okay. Sidvik, nice to have you here from Gander, Newfoundland. Dr. Sisop, WTWW 5085 in Caymans, S5. David McCormick, been watching the YouTube war coverage. John Beckham, nice to have you here. Man, running up and down 3 stairs. Enjoy your shortwave videos, tuning in frequencies, and more coming up in Northeast Florida. Frank Carolyn, what's the best way to listen to online SDR radios? Just go to the Kiwi SDRs online. There's hundreds of online receivers that are available to listen to. Just Google Kiwi SDR. What else? Chess Tank, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Bobby says no buffering. Jum Hamalnuel, anyone hearing radiogram traffic into Poland for the refugees? Sandy New, any thoughts on battery operation for 13.8 volts? I want to take my transceiver outside when spring comes. It depends how long, but I think your best cost versus possibility, although it brings it a little heavy, those lead acid batteries, they have sealed lead acid batteries that are pretty good. Um, so that could be a possibility. Um, Especially, if you do with transceiver, and that's the big problem is the transceiver. Once you start broadcasting a signal, you know what? You get you need a lot of power, and pretty much the only power banks that will actually have enough power are lead acid batteries. And like I said, it depends how long, and it depends how much power you want to use also. That's where it gets complicated, especially for like portable operation. Simon Templar, I've not heard anything from the U.S. Air Force HF frequency in the last 3 days. Did anyone experience this too? I've heard quite a lot today. Maybe it's the frequencies. Have you switched the frequencies? Remember that there are multiple frequencies that have stuff like it's 4724, 8992, 11175, 15016. Switch between different frequencies. George, no buffering. Video quality is great. Cool. DVD Extra, 1080p now, still steady. Okay. Best this time reborn. Nice to have you on board from Australia. John Beckham. No, it was Bell. I'm on Videotron. It was a Bell. I was not very nice with the girl that showed up. I should have been a little nicer and said we're not interested in bye-bye. But she interrupted me in my show, and I was like not really happy. So I was like, get out. And she wanted to ring another doorbell for some other neighbors here. And I said, get out. You don't ring anybody else's doorbell. I was a little mad. That's what you get when you interrupt Joe from his shortwave show. Sid Vic, I need another on the air sign from the front door. That's what I need. That's what I need. Aha. The FCC's coming, says Canadian Radio TV guy. I doubt it's another coffee maker. I like coffee, but to a certain point. What else do we have? So Landy says there's a new case out for the county com. Yep, they because the county com has this. Well, the Dixon PL 368 is the same thing. Is that when you squeeze it, it kind of wobbles a little bit. And they had told me that there would be some hard cases to make it even more sturdy coming. So that's probably what happened now. I'm supposed to have a few of them. Jason VE9 JMC, nice to have you here. Domino's Pizza time. I wish I didn't even eat anything before I started the show. That would have been good. Pizza live. Vadim, learning for his ham license right now. Congratulations. My internet extended warranty is about to expire at the Argos 12. Nice to have you here. Poison Flower, nice to have you here from Perth in Australia. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. WF7I Homebrew, nice to have you on board from Virginia. Setting up for an evening of astrophotography. That's cool. That's cool. EKT, nice to have you on board, and says, the University of Twente, Netherlands, good web SDR. Gabrielle, nice to have you on board, my friend. You left the cows. I'm sure you were sad to leave the cows, and I think the cows were sad to see you go also. But that last picture, I think one of the cows was like, this is too noisy for me. Toast and love. Or maybe she was curious. It was like, maybe I could get into this hobby. Toast and love, nice to have you on board, says, I like kiwi. Jeff King, do you know any shippers or ship radios into prisons? That's an interesting question, and I have no idea. I guess it all depends if you're allowed to have a radio in the prison. Are you in jail, Jeff? What did you do? You did something bad? Um, what else do we have? Um, John Beckham, time to make a hot cup of green tea. Some honey graham crackers. Man, every time you mention that, I'm like, yeah, I need to buy some. I like those, and I haven't had a honey graham cracker in at least 20 to 30 years. I tell you. And every time you mention it, it's like, oh man, I want to have one now. Simon Templar been watching the tankers and NATO AWAC planes on ADSB exchange. David, clear firewall tonight, no buffering. Bestest times heard reach beyond radio on shortwave last night. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Robert Cross, have you ever get signal stop war over the buzzer? Yeah, I've via the Kiwi Onlines. The picture that I shared, pretty crazy. David McCormick is enjoying the Bandscan videos more. Tomorrow I'm going to have quite a few of them, actually. So, John Bacon spent all day charging the radios. That's cool. That means you're using them. Mickey Dalmich at Winterfest a few years back, we lost power for 3 days. No elevator. Sheldon and I almost died. Janice was okay. Yeah, she's a survivor. Good thing we were on floor 3. She was on floor 6. Man, yeah, I remember that year. I was doing the show, the International Radio Report live alone. Well, not alone, but I still remember. Simon Templar listening to 11-175-8992. Anything happening? Let's put it. Hey, you know what? Talking about it. Let's put 4724 here on very low. So yes, there's a small background noise. Keegan, no, probably. In my case, it's the aliens coming to get me. Gustavo Bernandez. BBC War in Ukraine frequencies 15735, 14 to 16, and 5875, 22 to 0 UT. I can add to that for probably a big chunk of North America, the 6195 frequency at 05 UT is pretty good. David McCarby, gang a sign saying beware of the leopard. No, it should say beware of the angry podcaster or something. Beware of the angry YouTuber. That would be. I'm sure, I feel bad because I was really, really kind of very get out of here and don't press any other doorbells. And I think she was like, she was all smiling. I was like, oh yeah, I think I probably messed up her evening. Which now she's going to feel like crap for the rest of the evening. And what a dead end job I'm doing right now. But at the same time, it was like, I hate getting anybody wanting to sell something door to door bothering me. I never, ever purchase something like that. And I don't want to be bothered. So, the frustration of having to go down and take a pause from here was like a little too much, and it was like I just can't. Maybe she'll have a new job next week. She's gonna talk to her coworkers. There's this angry guy that I met last night. Oh man, he wanted me to just get out. Joseph Ickenbaum, nice to have you here from San Francisco Bay Area. VA3JPX, of course, it's never me. I'm always perfect. Not. Canadian Radio TV guy was wondering, was just hearing on the news that has been more explosions in Kyiv, maybe as of a half hour ago. Yeah, unfortunately. Just hang a sign on the door. Volunteers for medical experimentations needed. that would be that would be uh, that would be nice. Hey Bobby, don't block Greg's messages, okay? He repeats them several times, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, don't worry about it. Go to the idiots that post really bad things. Keegan, I would be mad if some telemarketer or other scam type call were to interrupt me while I was recording FME and with Radio DX on my iPhone. Ian, nice to have you here from the UK. G7HFS slash PA3IKH. He's got a Dutch ham license too. Cool. Frank Ireland, no buffering. Yeah, RT News channel has been blocked. Would have been nice to have the good old days of Voice of Russia on Shortwave, to have their own personal viewpoint of the events. Zen Pharaohs are radios that can be shipped to prison. They are transparent, so there is no contraband. Available from American Detention Supplies. Wow. There is such a thing. I didn't even know that. There is such a thing as American Detention Supplies. Yes, American Detention Supplies. Yes, we do have a translucid Texan H501. No problem. It can be shipped to any jail across North America. Yes, yes. Log 2112, nice to have you here. Pedro, nice to have you here from Puerto Rico. Just bought a Texan R9012. Very excited to hear what's near me and more precision. You used the cheapo QFX. So the 9012 is light years ahead of QFX. It's a different radio and it's very different. You're going to have a much better radio in that 9012 than the QFX. A992 looks like a jet ready to get off. I hear like a dystone or something. So we'll see. Maybe Russian. No, I don't think Russian are jamming HF. You know, the jamming capabilities of Russia on especially on shortwave has pretty much gone to zero now. Jeff King, my friend, has a prison ministry. One person is in lockdown, has no radio. St. Jean makes clear case radios acceptable. We're trying to get one for him. Cool. That's cool. I'm laughing, but it's no laughing matter. But cool. If you can get something there, that's cool. V3 JPX door-to-door sales is so passe. Man. David McCormick, the letdown from no radio delivery. I was not waiting for anything, so I thought, who could be ringing the doorbell if I'm not waiting for any packages right now? Not John. Nice to have you here from England. Fitzpatrick. There are clear plastic electronic devices for prisoners like this radio, Sony's SRF 39 FP AM FM prison radio. I want to have a prison radio now. I want to have all my radios made for prison. I like that. I like to see the electronics inside. How lucky are they? I want to go in jail to get a prison radio now. Oh, man. Japan from Texas. Nice to have you here. Yvonne, nice to have you on board. Danielle, next time look her straight in the eye and tell her you really want to talk to her about Jesus. They'll put big do not knock note. It's like, I get it, but I mean, I pretty much think that, she should do something else. Isn't door-to-door salesman stuff the most crappy job in the world today? There used to be a time for that. There used to be a time when salesmen could actually have a living with that. Today it's like, please. You guys hear it? It's like a motor running. That's 8992. 8992. That is so weird. It's like an alarm on 8992. Is it on the other frequencies? 4724? Nope. 11175? Nope. It's really on 8992. That is so weird. Jim McLeod, what's the best medium wave DX propagation outlook like? Seems like last couple of weeks have been poorer than a month ago. You know what, Jim McLeod? One of the things that's been happening a lot recently is unsettled conditions on a geomagnetic field. That impacts medium wave a lot. So continue looking at every night because it's uneven. And the nights where geomagnetic storming or even unsettled conditions happen, it definitely has an impact. So it's really a night to night thing. American detention supplies. Log 2112. My whole life I spelled it Kiev and pronounced it as Kiev. I refuse to pronounce it Kiev. Why? Kiev is the Ukrainian. I pronounce it Kiev. It is the Ukrainian pronunciation. It is what you should pronounce it. Kiev. Kiev is the Russian version. And in you, H501 is a great radio. Absolutely. Joseph Eggenbaum got a screenshot and a recording of the jet taking off sound on 8992. Pedro Gonzalez, you have to continue, and you know what? Be happy with radio. Be happy with radio. What else do we have? What else do we have? Sir Maximus Hardwood just bought a Texan PL330. Can't wait to listen. Cool. And you're at the best place in the world for that. Zenfaros Texan is not carried, unfortunately, by the American detention supplies. But St. Jean is. That's interesting. No shortwave, though. Oh. I want to have an ATS 909X2 clear cased radio. That'd be so cool. I don't know about you guys, but when I see a radio, if you give me a choice of radios and that radio choice gives me the possibility to have a clear case that I see the circuit board, I will always choose the clear case. I want to see what's inside. I find it cool to see the inside while I'm using the radio, thinking of all the circuitry and what's happening in there, the electronics. If you give me a choice, it will always be a clear, transparent radio all the time. I got one of them is cranked radio from one of those what was the name of that company? They made radios that were for Africa, and they were made actually I think it's in South Africa for a while. And when you purchased one here in North America, they were expensive, but that's because you were buying one for an African listener. And I remember I went there, they had 3 models, a red one, a black one, and a transparent blue one where I could see the circuit inside. It was like, I want a transparent one. I want to see what's inside. I want to see how it works when I crank it and everything. That's always what I wanted. Jason V9JMC, that noise has been intermittent on 8992 all day, but doesn't happen on any of other US Air Force frequencies. That's interesting. Maybe it's some other signal from some kind of other utility stuff. Sid, DXing good here in central Newfoundland. John Beckham, have you presented tuning shortwave frequencies yet with the XH data D808? Nope. I'm going to do tomorrow more Texan PL330. And the next radio is going to be the XH data D808. So hang in there. They're coming. The videos are coming. Ivan, will the Texan 920C allow me to hear talk like coast to coast AM? Probably, because there are so many frequencies that that it is playing on that a radio like the 920C is, I think, good enough for that. Yes. Patrick Fitzpatrick, you can buy our prison radio on eBay. Nice teeth. I got nice teeth. I hope $7,000 later. J Projects, they have transparent TVs too. Wow, I want one. I'm gonna have transparent stuff. Why is it just for jail? Oh God. Joseph says it looks like a bunch of tiny carriers distributed 100 hertz apart. V3JPX. Yeah, really awesome feet. What's your secret? $7,000. Oh man. For most people, I hope it's taking care of them. In my case, it's $7,000. Poison Flower. Did a video on prison radios and TVs. Worth having a look. Huh, TechMoan. That's interesting. VTFGJ 8992 revving up. Simon Templar hearing also the motor sound. Carl Icon picking up 6115, which is WWCR in Nashville, Tennessee. David McCormick found my PopCom monitoring certificate, KPC9DV, and CRB research certificates. Wow. Pretty cool. Timothy, I did a job for the census and a census enumerator knocking on doors. Temporary job, real good pay, but very thankless. Some people would just slam the door. But you know what? I'll have a difference because maybe some don't. There's a difference for me if you become you're a census bureau guy asking questions for the government or whatever. I will have a different response to you than you're going to sell me some crappy thing. You know, especially Bell. I was with Bell for a long time before I moved here to another company, which is Videotron. I'm not going back to Bell ever. And the thing is, I don't mind if you come here for a census bureau because it's like, okay, you have questions and you're doing it door to door. Although for me, it's like, why don't you do it on the phone? But if you come here and ring my doorbell for two things, selling me some religious stuff or selling me anything that is not a shortwave radio, you're going to see that I'm not happy that you rang my doorbell. That's pretty much it. Randall Klontz, nice to have you here from Northeast Illinois. Timothy, Kiev is the world. Is the word. Not the world, but the word. Greg, do you talk on your ham radio? Yes. Yesterday, I actually have the honor of having Skip and 2EI that never talk to me. That's a privilege because he only answers to Morse code guys. So it's pretty cool. VT Radio, Paul AA1SU from Northern Vermont. Nice to have you here. Do I have any Radio Creve recording? I believe on my channel, there's at least one or two Radio Kiev recording from the past, not recent ones because they're not on shortwave anymore, but maybe 1 or 2 years old. I'm pretty sure if you write radio Kiev, like Kiev, Kiev, you will find some videos when they were actually relayed by WRMI. Ivan, Texan 920C, a decent starter radio. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. For the price that it's sold, it is surprisingly good. So if that's the budget you have, that's the radio that probably is one of the best that you can get. Yes. It all depends on the budget you'll have on a radio. But if that is pretty much what you can spend, you're gonna have a decent radio on it. V2FGJ 8992 taking off again. ICE Station Z. U.S. Department of State made the department's pronunciation change officially to Kiev in 2009. TVDXer, does ICOM have a prison radio? I want it. I want to exchange my R8500 for the prison radio for sure. A prison net. Canary KB1 PPJ just logged on. Anyone hearing 6925 LSB? What language? Two-way convo. Yeah, that's probably some pirates and some. Let's check it out here. So I'm hearing 6925 upper, and then lower, and lower. 6925. Anything here? Yeah, there is something. There's something on 6880 that's intriguing me here. Yeah, there's something there. I can hear it in the noise. Probably some fishermen, but there's a lot of that happening there. Sometimes it's interesting because you'll hear a pirate station on, say, 6925 upper and some other talk on 6925 lower sidebands. Voice is calling on 4724. Let me put my radio back to 4724. We'll see if we get anything a little bit in the background. Just barely. Landy, when's the wife getting to the program? Never. It's like, some people are camera shy and just don't want to have anything to do with, and it's also nothing to do with radio. So never. Frank Carolyn, is it normal for the digits on the frequency display to jump around a little when tuning the Texan P990X tuning knob pretty fast? I asked because it doesn't happen on 660. Yeah, it's okay. It's simply the way that the encoder is actually counting when you tune around. It's not a problem at all. When you tune slow, it actually gets smoother. It's really when you tune faster that it can jump a few. That is an encoder, the way the encoder works. Am I still using the ULIB antenna rail? It's in front of me right now, and I will use it more, absolutely, because I want to do more videos with it. But it's winter, making it a little more difficult to have some decent testing stuff. Keegan, listen to classical music on my local NPR station, KUAF, Fayetteville, Arkansas, 91.3 before I go to sleep. That's good. That's relaxing. David, most prisons allow any telescopic whip because it can be a weapon. Yeah, I would guess. So the Sangean comes with a pigtail antenna. That's interesting because it's something I never thought about. Never, never. Something I never talk about. And I would not even think that there's special supplies for prison inmates. It never came to my mind. And now you guys talk about it. It's kind of, wow, okay. Specialized equipment for inmates to make sure that there's no, you know, nothing happening like we talked about. I would see a broken telescopic whip being used as a weapon, definitely. So yeah, you got to think about all of that. So that means these, like Saint Jean, they're thinking about how to sell something for prison inmates. It's interesting. Never thought about that. That's kind of interesting. 6754 Upper Sideband Trenton, Roberto. I'm going to see if I hear it here, but it's not this time of year. I hear it in the summertime usually. In the wintertime, I rarely hear it. Yep, nothing here on 6754 right now. What else do we have? Timothy, I went to sleep listening to Melissa Scott in 5935. Yeah, that's also something you can go to sleep with. RGA Dakota, GE made a clear radio that looked more like a can. G2, okay. Discerning what is true. Do you know if anyone that is reporting what is taking place in Ukraine? At one time, WRMI was broadcasting them a few years ago. Curious if there is info that you know of. So what we have on shortwave, particularly, what we have mostly is in English. The accounts of the BBC World Service that you can try on different frequencies. 15735, 14 to 16 is making it decently well to North America. 6195 is pretty good also at 05 UTC. Radio Romania, Radio Prague, Radio Slovakia are reporting on it. So these are the shortwave outlets that could be listened to. Radio France International has been pretty good also in the coverage. Pretty interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure Radio France still has an English language hour on shortwave. I was looking at it the other day and didn't find any. They're in French, but I don't know if they still have in English. Unfortunately, Radio Ukraine stopped broadcasting on via WRMI, and it's sad. But there have been, actually, it stopped broadcasting, but they have been rebroadcast. Anybody hear the Radio Ukraine rebroadcast still on WRMI? The new ones that I've started again, just out of curiosity, because that that's going to stop at some point for sure. Jeff King, generally speakerless. Only speakerless AM/FM pocket radios acceptable in most prisons now. Huh. Gabriel says he sure misses the cows and the propagation they boost. Pretty sure. VT radio. Joe went into the thrift store today, looked at a shortwave radio, found one of those cheap AM/FM shortwave 1-2 for $7. It's a JPXR633B. Works on shortwave pretty well. Wow. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Patrick Fitzpatrick. In the Ireland census, some people put Atari Jaguar as the answer to what religion are you? Dr. Sisop, 7780 WRMI playing rock music. Anything else here? Let's check it out. Scannery receiving it in Rhode Island. What do we have? Anything else? Jim McLeod, anyone remember WRNO New Orleans back in the 80s? I was only a kid, but I think one DJ's name was Rod St. John. Seemed pretty cool to me. Yeah, WRMI, when they were rocking the world, they're still on the air as a religious broadcaster, but when they were rocking the world, remember that for sure. For sure. John Beckham, 5990, coming in into Northeast Florida. Let's check it out here.
Take new consolidated measures in at least two respects.
Very good signal of Radio Romania tonight.
We need to enhance the defense capacity of the Romanian state. To this end, we must increase the share of defense expenditure in the GDP from 2% at present to 2.5%.
This sounds so much like Cold War again.
Romania must secure its energy independence, mainly by
I'm going to leave you guys with Radio Romania temporarily while I go and have a little tea.
The President emphasized that for these strategic goals to be achieved, political decisions must be agreed on, and concrete action plans must be implemented by relevant institutions. The European Parliament supports Ukraine's candidacy to the EU and firmly condemns the Russian invasion. I'm Helena Pasco with more in this report by Eugen Poroianu. Gathered for an extraordinary plenary session on the situation in Ukraine on Tuesday, the European Parliament adopted a resolution calling on the EU institutions to act and grant the country the status of candidate for EU membership. The document states that the process will take place in accordance with Article 49 of the Treaty on European Union and on the basis of its merits. And in the meantime, efforts must continue to integrate Ukraine into the single market in accordance with the association agreement. The resolution, adopted with 637 votes in favor, 13 against, and 26 abstentions, condemns in the strongest possible terms Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. At the same time, MEPs call on Russia to cease all military activity in Ukraine. The MEPs categorically reject Moscow's rhetoric, which hints at a possible use of weapons of mass destruction and reminds it of its international obligations. They warn of the dangers of a nuclear escalation of the conflict. The European Parliament calls on the Commission and the member states.
This sounds so Cold War at times. It's incredible. If you guys that have not been listening to Shortwave in the 80s or the 70s, that sounds Cold War times.
MEPs welcome the swift adoption of the sanctions, but want to see more restrictive measures.
So really good signal from 5990 Radio Romania International. No problem, Canadian radio TV guy. Good. Bon appetit. Miki Delnich. Just got to find where I was. Back when I was a teen, sorry, I was confronted by a few lads with a small knife. I snapped a radio whip antenna off the nearest car, and the situation ended. No one was hurt. Wow. Okay, that's a story. How I defended myself with a car antenna. So radio saved your life, because without radio, there would not have been that antenna. You can actually say how radio saved your life. Oh, man. The only encounter, well, the one that I had the last time when my face all disfigured that some of you have seen, but I don't know, it's like 20 years ago. And I've always been kind of a little, kind of a big guy. So I'm on the street. It's, 4 a.m. I'm coming from a bar or something. And there's two guys on the sidewalk. I noticed them. And one guy says to the other, him. And the other guy says, no, he's too big. It's like, What does that mean? I continued and I was like, what does that mean? Really? That's weird. I think probably what it meant is, no, we're not going to try on this guy. He's too big. But you never know what could happen. Montreal is a very safe city compared to a lot of places in the world, but it's not zero risk. There's always you never know who you're going to encounter, especially at night when you're alone. Dream Shadow 76, I love you. I have been in radio broadcasting, including pirate radio and FM and WBCQ Shortwave. Love your YouTube channel. It keeps me sane. Cool. I hope. I hope my channel is not bringing people insane, because that would be the wrong thing. But if it brings you sane, although we are insane in our hobby of radio, it's cool. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Joel. BBC launches new shortwave radio service in Ukraine. Northern Dawn. Nice to have you here. Roger. Anyone streaming the BBC News direct to Ukraine? Discerning what is true? Yes, Radio France International does not broadcast in English anymore. Thank you for the info. Yeah, that's what I thought, because they had, what's sad, not that long ago, about a year and a half, they had a 1 hour English on WRMI. So it's really sad. Trust no one. New to shortwave. What is a good radio to have that's available at the moment? It depends on how much money you have to spend. But I'd say the minimum entry radio for everything, including the possibilities of single sideband, is the Texan PL330. If you don't want to spend too much and just listen to whatever broadcasts out there, I think the Texan 9012 and the Radio R108 are a few models that could be. There is the if you're tech savvy, by the way, if you're okay with computers and kind of find your way around computers, I do think that an RTL SDR V3 not only brings you in the world of software defined receivers, but it is an okay performer, and it's like 30-ish US dollars, and it's okay. It performs nice, but there's a learning curve because you have to install it, which is not for the faint of heart of computers. And but if you understand the way computers work and all of that, and you're pretty good around computers, you'll find your way around this. All depends on how much you want to spend. Artist Out of Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Finished painting another model rocket. Pretty cool. Yeah, the smell, eh? It's such a distinctive smell. When you send a rocket a few times and you pick up the rocket and bring it home, the smell that it has is so unique. Dr. Sisup is having a beer run. Roger, Radio New York International. Yeah, a long time ago. Keegan remembers WRNO and 7505 summer 2009. Well, try 7505 tonight. It should be there at some point. I don't know what time they start, though. 7505. Anything there right now? I think it's later in the evening, but I heard them like a few days ago. David McCormick, Romania sounds all too familiar. Yep. Mixed Radio International. Like your clean audio feed. Jeff King picked up Radio Ukraine International one morning, 7 a.m. Yeah, the 50, what's the frequency? on the 12 to 12 hours UTC time. Next day was not in English. Oh, that's interesting. Chat saying the last 5 days of radio traffic have made me think the same. Days of the Cold War, radio traffic. Interesting stuff. Yep. Yep. George, Radio Romania 5990, not as clear in Houston, but still Q5 copy. John Beckham, Radio Spain 9690 coming into Northeast Florida. V3JPX used to party on St. Catherine Street often. Oh, man. Reminds me of the good old days of the Peel Pub on Peel in St. Catherine when I was with the BBS, the Bulletin Board System guys, having GTs get-togethers. 7325. I haven't tried that one. Try 7325. Is it as good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Like that.
With their expectations. Raluca Dumitra told us
That's 7325. So try 7325, my friend. Maybe it's going to be better. They're on two frequencies, 5990 and 7325.
There is a big talent deficit in the Romanian labor market. Since the beginning of
Mike
the year,
WX50, nice to have you here.
new jobs have been posted on the platform. Most employers are in Bucharest and in the cities, and the fields that employ the most are retail, services, call centers, production, IT, telecom.
Yes, religious. I know
industry,
Timothy.
construction.
And sometimes in
Just a
Chinese.
few weeks ago, we conducted another survey among employers this time. And we asked them
Northern
what the
Dawn,
areas
I
in which
believe
see
they
the
are
most
using,
demand
one is using the
their
Ascension
work.
transmitter
And
site,
the
and the other one
first
is using
mentioned
the
by them were
um,
sales, production, and
Warferton,
construction.
England transmitter
These
site.
are areas that are traditionally faced with shortage, where the fluctuations are high. For fields where finding labor force is a bit more difficult, such as manufacturing or construction. The latter area has
Pedro,
recorded
I
a
picked up
great growth,
KBS in several
especially in the last
languages.
few years. On the other hand, we are still talking about a
Radio
huge
Free Europe still
shortage
exists,
in the
Log
IT
2112.
sector. Before the pandemic, we were talking about a deficit of 20 to
Landy has
30,000
7325,
specialists
good signal in
that the
Milwaukee.
market could have absorbed any
John
time.
Robert Cross,
And now, with all
7325,
the
really
momentum
good.
that digitalization has gained because of the
V3JPX says,
pandemic,
yep, Peel Pub,
this
been there
deficit
lots.
stands
Used to
at
buy their
around
pictures. Yep.
50,000 specialists.
Cheap beer. San Faro, 7325, enormous signal.
Which is here to stay even after the pandemic ends. Raluca Dumitra once more.
Unul dintre singurele lucruri bune pe care ni le-a adus pandemia a fost această flexibilizare a programului.
One of the very few good things the pandemic has brought along is this
A pretty good signal
flexibility,
off of Radio Maine.
because we all had to
7325 and 5990. V3JPX used to spend lots of time in the arcades. Yep. Our Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty are still on with several languages. A lot of them on medium wave for European services, but still some shortwave stuff. It's a lower service. It's not like the service we had in the past, but still has quite a few frequencies. Actually, one of the stories of the International Radio Report we talked a few weeks ago was how Russia finds that Radio Free Europe journalists should be actually tagged. They should be on a list because they're trying to make sure that these journalists are bad guys because they're reporting on what's happening. Frank Ireland, 5990-7325, good in Venice, Florida. Barbie Barn, yeah. Went there 2 years ago with Mika Delmage and Sheldon Harvey before they closed on downtown Montreal like last year or something like that. But just before the pandemic hit, a few weeks before, Mika Delmage, Sheldon Harvey, and me went to the Barbie Barn that was still downtown. It still existed back then. So it's like, I don't know, February ish of 2020. Mickey Dalmadge will remember what date it was or what time it was, but I think it was like February, something like February or early March 2020, just barely before the pandemic hit. Keegan 1725 S2 to S4 out of S5 on the field BT, so that's pretty good. John Bickham has 7325 loud in Northeast Florida. Pretty good. Yeah, it's the only one left, VA3JPX. The one downtown closed a year and a half ago, but that one and DOD and the loud is the last one left that still exists from the last count that I know of. VT Radio picking up 4840 on the little Cube GPX. That's WWCR. So yep, Art Bell was a ham W60BB. Okay. Yeah, it was not in the best spot. Well, downtown as V3JPX, downtown Montreal always has terrible parking. That's why I always tell everybody go downtown Montreal using the metro. It's so much better. You're close to everything with the metro. But with a car, it's crazy bad. So, got a few questions for you guys, and we got a question. So, we're going to answer the questions from our friend Frank here that he has. And I'll ask you these questions also at the same time because I think they will reflect upon you guys too. So, he's got the questions that are directed to me. The first question that he has is, what keeps me listening to shortwave and not get bored? Well, I think for me, that question is diversity. Um, Not listening to one specific aspect of the radio hobby all the time. If you listen to international broadcasts and focus only on that, it is possible you might get bored over time. But if you listen to that and you listen to utilities and ham radio and try to decode digital modes and you know when you put the whole aspect of the hobby in it, that's where you always find something interesting to go to. And so, hey, what the question I have for you guys is, what keeps you interested in shortwave? What is it that keeps you alive and you want to continue listening? Whatever it is. I want to have that answer from you guys too. What else do we have? St. Pharaoh's 4000 USB reveals the 4001 CW beacon or whatever it is. Sloppy as always. What is it? I know a lot of people are asking that. I've heard it too here. There's there's only one thing listed there, and it's the 4XZ Israel beacon. The only thing I could see is that if it's that, it's because it's messed up in some way and it doesn't sound right. Because apart from that, I think no one knows exactly what is on that frequency and what's that all about. It seems like a very bad CW, but it's very, very weird. So I don't know. Is it Israel? You know what? Maybe with Kiwi SDRs online, we could pinpoint, maybe go close to Israel and see if we hear it over there. That would kind of tell us, well, maybe it is Israel with some kind of whacked out transmitter or something. Um, V3 JPH, do people still use fans? No, not really. Not really. That's pretty much gone. Skip, nice to have you on board from the weather changeable New Jersey. Nice to have you here. And to EI, it was nice to have a contact with you, voice. I feel privileged of having one of the rare contacts, voice contacts, with our friend N2EI here. Lock 2112. That's why I love shortwave, comparing signals between here and God knows where else. Zen Pharaohs, unless you work for a government agency, nobody is making you listen to shortwave if you get bored. So only listen to when you're not bored. Yeah, for sure. My station said multiple radios on various modes, bands, and multiple antennas. John Bickham never gets tired of shortwave radio because you never know what you might hear from day to day. It's a mystery. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Skip, playing with the radios keeps him going. That's perfect. Mixed Radio International, still find it amazing to listen to shortwave radio, even though I can listen to streaming. Frank Ireland, the excitement of never knowing what you might stumble upon, the possibilities are endless. Well, that's David McCormick. That's why you have a tuning knob. You can get bored from that, but there's a world out there outside of that. So that's why you have a tuning knob. You can't focus on what gets you bored. You have to focus on what gets you alive on radio. I never listen to radio broadcasts of religious stuff on shortwave. I'm atheist and I don't care about that. I never stop on that. I never stumbled on that. And even if you have 50 brother stair frequencies, I don't even have a negative side to that because I'm listening to something else. Tune away and tune around. That's what keeps you alive. Focusing on what's negative or getting bored is why you're bored on the radio. Focusing on there's so much else out there is what keeps you alive. Um, what else do we have? Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you on board. 7325, but obvious why I receive it. I'm in Europe. Keegan, WWV check 5,000, 5 out of 5, 10,000 S2 out of 5, and the Eaton Grundig Field BT radio. Chastang, the excitement from catching that signal I never heard before, experimenting, and the results. RJ Dakota, never know what you will stumble across when tuning across the bands. I can't get bored with that. George, if I'm a ham, yes, Victor Echo 2, Zulu, India. David McCormick, that was interesting about Solar Cycle 25 termination event. Should make for some interesting listening. And also, that termination event is still, nobody is, confirming it's true or it works. So this is going to be interesting because now we have solar physicists with the termination event theory against NOAA and their big gun, league of scientists with their prediction that solar cycle 25 is the same or roughly at the same level of 24, and the researchers with the termination event theory that say no, it went quick, it's going to be higher, it's going to be on average, not like the last solar cycle. We're going to see. That's going to be interesting to look at, and shows that we're still learning about all of this. David McCormick. So, Timothy, I pick up lots of signals on shortwave walking in the park with my Skywave. That's cool. And it is amazing when you think about it. When I go out in a park or I go out in a urban de-expedition, as I call them, You got a little box with a little antenna sticking out, and you're receiving signals from everywhere. It's like, wow, this is so cool. Andy and you still love all aspects of shortwave listening. Always loved utility stations and hams. No, I'm licensed. I love the ham bands even more. Aero frequency is still fascinating, as are digital signals. Cool. Welcome back, Matt. Welcome back. Mickey Domich, yes, we went to Barbie Barn just before everything shut down, probably March 1st or 2nd, 2020. Winterfest was the leap year weekend. You were attending a YouTube meeting. Absolutely. I am having ribs tonight, beer and rib. Cool. Yeah, that was fun. Last time we met in person. Man, that is hopefully this year we'll have more. Everything will be right so we can meet again. But yeah, I remember. It was that you guys had just gone back from Winterfest event. Dream Shadow. Love RF and enjoy the experience of shortwave as a child growing up. They're a grinding combo FM, public service, and shortwave. Enjoyed being in the attic running into the radio. Brian Penny, nice to have you here. Pirates and clandestine stations. I logged 2 Russian pirates direct here in Cape Cod last week. Both send me a QSL. Now how cool can that be? That is cool. Nice to have you here, Brian. What else do we have? What else do we have? Trust no one. Shortwave radio for preparedness for me. Good to hear what's going on around the world. Cool. Win 1960. Nice to have you on board from West Central New York. John Beckham, listening to shortwave radio the last few days with the Russian invasion of Ukraine is feeling more like the 60s, 70s, Cold War. It's more like appreciation for shortwave now. Yep. Like 3112, still on 7325. Music is enthralling. No, wait, it sound like a medical condition. Nathan Philip Connors was wondering what would be a good radio for a beginner to learn on. Once again, depends on what you want to have and what's the budget of the radio. There's quite a few models. You don't have to spend that much money today to have a pretty good radio in general. But from the cheap $20-ish Texan R9012 or even the 920C to a little more expensive Ceodon or RadiWow R108 to a little more expensive Texan PL330. And there's so many models out there up to the higher ends, Sangean and Texan H501X and 990X. Lots of stuff out there. And for a price that is never been matched. I mean, in the 80s, we would have spent so much more money on radios than we are today. Frank Ireland, hearing WWVH. Levy Eaton, nice to have you on board from Israel. Dream Shadow, love RF and enjoy the experience of shortwave as a child growing up. Charlie McKee, radio. What can a person hopelessly in love with teasing out signals from the static say? Heck, I do house chores while CHU and WWV ramble in the background. We're a crazy bunch of people, finally. Oh, wow. Bison short ribs for dinner. Roger, the first QSL I received from a pirate was 1965 from WBBH in New Jersey after the FCC busted them. Yeah, when the FCC had a lot more people and manpower to do that. John Beckham loves this Ceodon R108 and D808. Robert Cross, anyways, good night. Take care, my friend. Always safe. Stay safe. See you Saturday at the show. Um, George, V2ZZI need to make a skid on 10 meters. Yep, I will. We're going to have to check it out. K5JIN, no problem, George. By the way, we're going to take just a few seconds. We're a few days away from a big event called the Shortwave Festival. So it's an event, it's a 2-day event that is a virtual event. So the Shortwave Fest was for a long time an in-person event in Pennsylvania. What happened is, of course, pandemic, and with all of that and the insecurity and not really knowing, what's going to happen. Last year, it was a virtual event that I attended and had so much fun. It is just an amazing 2 days of virtual Zoom fun. There are presentations. There's all sorts of things happening. It's coming now, this weekend, Friday and Saturday, March 4th and 5th. Okay? This is an event you want to be if you love radio. You're going to have a lot of fun. SWLFEST.com is where you want to go. And it's $10 if you want to join for the 2-day event. The money is because it requires a Zoom account for them to do this. It costs money. So they're asking for a registration fee to pay for the Zoom. It is going to be a lot of fun. So just to give you an idea, guys, of what's going to be this weekend, just out of curiosity, they have the schedule now up and running of all the stuff that's going to happen, including me and Sheldon Harvey being there. So, two things. First of all, if you join, you are not only going to be able to watch all the presentations on Friday and Saturday, you'll also be able to join the CIDX hospitality suite, which is the place where if nothing's happening or if a presentation or is not of interest to you, you can come in, just say hello in the hospitality suite, and the other radio listeners out there, we will be happy to have you on board. So it's the actually the Bob Brown Memorial Hospitality Suite that it's called, hosted by CIDX, Canadian International DX Club. So the latest schedule will have, it starts at 18 UTC, that's 1 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Setting up your monitoring post, or How to Wire Yourself into a Corner Without Really Trying by Tom Swisher. At 19:30 Universal Time, we're going to have Famous Hams Past and Present by our friend here, Skip, and 2EI. And it's a trip through quirky ham history by discovering folks who are or were amateur radio operators. Some you may know, but I guarantee there will be a few that may surprise you. 21 UTC, 4 p.m. Eastern, the Free Radio Forum by Larry Wall, Mysterious Signals That Go Bump in the Night, odd sounds and odd frequencies in the middle of the afternoon, AM signals with very wide, full fidelity bandwidth, distorted sideband transmissions, playing strange music and making weird images appear on the listener's software-defined radios. Welcome to the world of unlicensed free radio on shortwave. Then 22:30 UT, not 5:30 p.m. Eastern, the International Radio Report with me and Sheldon Harvey. We're going to be live recording the show. We will be interviewing you guys. If you want to talk, if you want to be on the radio, if you want to join in and give your opinion, we'll be there. Says Sheldon Harvey, Gilles Letourneau, which is me, apparently. So join Sheldon and Jill in the Winterfest Hospitality Suite. as they co-host a live recording of their weekly radio program heard on CKUT FM in Montreal. So this is going to be a lot of fun if you want to join in and say hi and be there. We'll have that 23:45 UT. That's 6:45 Eastern time, 18:45 Eastern time, 6:45 p.m. It's going to be the Shortwave Listening in Japan by Toshi Otake and Sakahe Obata, marking the 70th anniversary of the Japan Shortwave Club, an assessment of the past, present, and future of shortwave listening in DXing Japan. Then we move on to what's going to happen Saturday. So just look, first day, lots of stuff, and already for $10, just that day is, I mean, come on, $10, you already have a lot for that. But on Saturday, we're going to move on with the, first of all, this is Friday, Saturday, March 5th, the Shortwave Shindig in Exile by David Gorin. This is actually Friday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 01 UTC. It's Saturday, of course. From a secret location, David's annual freeform extended celebration of Dominium. This time it shapes up like this. The Zoom warm-up from 01 to 03 UT, shortwave-related music videos, a review of radio-related bits and bobs from the past year, an update on the Brooklyn Pirate Radio sound map, and a few surprises. And there will be a live broadcast on WRMI 7570 kHz, 03 to 04 UT, Shortwave Shindig, a celebration of shortwave arts, culture, and history. 04 to 06, the best of shortwave long distance 2022. Huzzah! It's the return of shortwaves long distance, a worldwide open call for compositions using shortwave sounds. So this is pretty cool. On Saturday, starts at 14:45 UT, 9:45 Eastern Time. What's the EDXC up to, which is the European DX console? There will be a few nice images to share, a look at the history of the EDXC conferences, and possibly a very short video of the last EDXC conference, which took place in 2019. 15:30 UTC, 10:30 Eastern in the morning. The Adventure of Radio Andorra Revival. Christian Guibaudot, Assistant Secretary General. Yeah, the EDXC. Did I the EXDC all the time? It's EDXC. Man, EDXC. The background, Christian Milling's efforts with EDXC support to convince Radio Andorra to return, albeit temporary, to shortwave spectrum. 17:45 UT, that's noon or 12:45 Eastern, a radio journey across 7 continents by Bruce Churchill. What started as a simple exposition of my hobby memoirs and a collection of QSL cards over my years, and a hobby morphed into a pseudo geographic history and story as I looked beyond just the QSL cards. So this is going to be quite interesting. 19 UTC, 2 p.m. Eastern. Technical monitoring at the VOA by Bill Whitaker. Or Whitaker. Ever wonder how shortwave broadcasters know if they're being heard or not? Most don't, unless you send them an email. VOA has always been among the most well-informed about their audibility in far-off target areas. That didn't just happen on its own. So this is going to be very interesting. Another interesting, well, they're all interesting. Another one, 2015 UT, that's 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Back to the classics. Dan Robinson. More than 50 years later, with 100 plus radios still in the stable, including some of the top receivers ever made, Dan Robinson is going to forward to the past in finding enjoyment in some of the classic receivers we all remember. Dan will discuss some of those radios and why their features still qualify them to sit next to the Top Gun receivers in his shack. That's going to be cool. There's going to be the In Memoriam with Sheldon Harvey, where we are going to have recognition for those friends and notables in the hobby who have passed away in the last year. And finally, 0 hours UTC, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sheldon Harvey and me are going to have the radio hobby, the changing state of what we do. Tired of hearing about stations leaving shortwave, how radio is dying, and that there's nothing to listen to out there? Are you concerned about what we do as a radio hobbyist? Well, the future is now. Two Canadians from Montreal discuss how they have been working hard to address the challenge and will suggest some innovative ways to make what we do interesting for newcomers and seasoned veterans alike, using a wide variety of tools and vehicles. So there's so much stuff there. Plus the Bob Brown Hospitality Suite, where you can join in, talk with others. It's crazy. $10, man. $10 for 2 days of virtual events wherever you are around the world. We are more than 200 participants registered right now. It's your time because, I mean, it's happening in 2 days from now, not even a day and a half. So if you want to join in, be with some cool people, you don't have to interact that much. It could just be joining, watching what's happening, watching what everybody's going to offer you with those presentations. It is amazing what you get for $10 and how much fun. And maybe it's going to bring some really cool and positive outlet to your shortwave hobby personally by just checking out what is going to happen at the Shortwave Fest. So, how do you do this? Well, you go to swlfest.com, okay? And there you have an online registration where you just pay $10 and you will have, once paid, you will have the links sent to you to the email and that you'll have for the presentations, hospitality suite. And I told you guys, I've been there last year. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of the places you want to be if you love radio. Let's bring those numbers up. We still have time to break the record of last year, which I believe is 240 participants. We're not that far off, actually. So why not think about it? You don't need to have a PayPal account. You can pay with a credit card through PayPal without having a PayPal account. And once you do register through the email you used, you will receive the links for the 2 day event. Links have been sent last night for those that are wondering, because I got quite a few messages from people saying, still don't have the links. Links have been sent last night. So they are now available for anybody registered. Why not join in and say hi and just, not even say hi? If you're the shy type, you can just join in, look at the presentations. You don't have to say anything, don't have to participate. You don't need a camera. You can just be there, even if you don't have a camera. It's not because it's Zoom that you need a camera, you need all the technology. You can just connect, watch what's happening. You got no camera, it doesn't matter. You still can join and be there. So be there and see me and Sheldon doing presentations and everybody else, Kip's presentation, everybody's presentation, and just have fun. Because you know what? Radio, we're a big gang of radio fans. You're here. You like what I do here. You like what we do here. Why not join there also? And you'll have a lot of fun. And, it brings back the enjoyment of radio if you have lost it. If you haven't, if you still love radio, you're just going to be in an exciting moment of sharing and being there with others that have the same passion for you. So just get there. swlfest.com. Okay. I sound like that bell girl that wanted to sell me something. But this is great because this is radio. Okay. Let's go down here. Let's go down here. David McCormick, the CO-Don receiver is good for the price. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joseph Ickenbon, listen to Shortwave for the mystery signals and the pirates. Two voices on 8966. Matt, MDK2, show of hands. Who's going to be at a Shortwave Winterfest? Yep, got to be there. I have to be there. I'm participating in some of the events. Bonsoir, TVD Extra. Fais attention à toi. À la prochaine. Oh, my typing sucks. When we want to type too fast for everybody. Art Dodd, the radio pirate Captain Chaos, hailed from Clark, New Jersey. He was a ham and avoided the FCC for years, but he finally got him. I believe in the 80s, the pirates broadcasted on 40 meters. Yep, 74-15. 74-15. Yes, I will be here live on Saturday, even with the live stream with the event. I will be live here at 20 UTC on Saturday. Absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll join the Winterfest in most of the morning and early afternoon. I'll leave the Winterfest for this live show and go back into the Winterfest to participate and be there also later for the presentation with Sheldon. So yep, there's still a live show. What we'll probably do this Saturday a lot is talk about how it's been going and what I liked, and maybe ask for those of you that are participating what we do enjoy in all of it, and how we what we find interesting for what we have seen yet. But yep, there is a live show still on Saturday for that, even though there's a Winterfest. Jim McLeod, high volume DXing has me thinking about hearing loss. If we were chatting in person, I can imagine someone saying, "What? Didn't catch what you said." Yeah, my I do have a hearing loss personally. Um, Part of it is probably radio, but I'm not sure that it's all of it radio. I think I was, and I got to say, still am a fan of high volume music through headphones or earbuds. I go out and put the earbuds and listen to music through my phone, and my phone actually has this little warning. From time to time, this Galaxy S20 phone will lower the volume, and then I go and the screen says you've been listening to music at a high volume for an hour. I lowered the level of the volume because you could actually damage your ears. And I usually put it back up anyways. So yeah, I'm sure, especially if you've been using earphones. I think the static and everything. Yeah, we might have some hearing loss in some cases. But like I said, in my case, I'm not sure if it's that or music. I think both have a pretty good, a pretty good place in how the hearing losses happened over time. I can tell you that. We've reached 120 some at some point. Yeah. Chris, good evening. Joining late. Winterfest is great. I learned so much. It is well organized, and the presenters know their stuff. Oh yeah, indeed. So it's going to be pretty cool, and more than 200 are registered yet. Last year, from what I've heard, is 240 was the registration number. 240. So let's beat that number this year. We're not that far actually from beating it 242. So why not beat that number this year and join and have fun? John Beckham, thanks, Joe, as you offer us, your fans, lots of perks and opportunities as watchers here. I'm here for that. We're here to have fun. Jeff King, I like listening to radio stations like Radio Romania, Greece, WTWW Music, various radios, vintage radios. If there's something to listen to, I'll listen. Cool. Hey, William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Pretty cool. Jeff King, I'm a Christian and don't listen to any of those crackpot preachers. Not a fan of Alex Jones either, but for a laugh. John Beckham, thanks, Joe. Would you please post the website address, please, for the fest? Yep, here we go. swlfest.com. Oops. Posted wrong. Just go back here. Not that. That is no good. That is no good. Here we go. Post the correct one here. www.swlfest.com. $10. You'll have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Everybody that joined last year, I think everybody is hyped and know that how fun of an event it is and want to join again. Okay. Sorry, guys. Like Matt says, you don't have to wear pants if you go to Winterfest, but remember one thing. If you don't wear pants, be careful when you get up of your chair. Oh, God. That's the big joke of, people not, I find that funny because I have never, of course, done a shortwave show without pants. Okay. You can rest assured I've always been dressed from head to toe, every live show. But when I saw the Zoom, all the Zoom events going on and the people working from home and the Zoom, meetings of all sorts and reporters, and you're like, you kidding me? Because you're on Zoom, you're not wearing proper clothing. It's like, come on. Here in Canada, we have a famous Canadian deputy that showed himself naked a couple of times on a Zoom meeting. So, anyways, David McCormick, great plug for the Shortwave Fest, $10. Yep, absolutely, it is amazing. You got to go there. Go there. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And you know what? Even if you're not there just both days, just one, it's still worth $10. Artist Not a Crafter's Kitchen. I would join, but I'm on a computer and Zoom all week at work, not doing it on the weekend. Maybe next year it will be back to an in-person event. But remember one thing: don't plague yourself or think about it as a Zoom. Look, you're watching me, and you're on Zoom every week. You don't have to be a participant of the Zoom. You can be just somebody watching, like you're watching me. There's not no difference there, even though it's Zoom. Zoom does not mean you have to interact. It does not mean you have to, absolutely talk or show yourself at all. You could just be somebody watching, like you're watching this tonight, and never interact with anyone. Just watch who's there, get into the hospitality suite, see who's there, but you don't have to, you can just say hi and that's it. It's not like a Zoom meeting at work or with all the people you might have every week or every day. You can just be there in the background watching the events go by and think about it as like watching this. You're just watching people doing presentations, talking about radio and what they love. It's not different from watching this, honestly. VT Radio, am I liking my new seat? I still have to get accustomed to correctly to the seat because I've got a little pain here on the right side right now with one, but it's okay. It's okay. At least it's a good look. I can smile and be happy. Skip, be there, be square. There you go. I'm looking forward for Skip's presentation. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have surprises in there. Uh-huh. It is always interesting to note, those people that were, um, well-known personalities that someday you find out they're like, oh, he was a ham? Really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we do need shortwave, Jeff King. Absolutely. Matt Reader, DXer, transatlantic signals trying on medium wave here in the UK, but too weak for audio, only getting carriers. Yeah, same here. I don't know what station I was listening to on the radio the other day, and there was a tone, and I went to the SDR to see the tone, and definitely was a European medium wave station, but too weak to really make any. Um, I can't get audio or anything, but definitely there are some carriers coming from Europe. The best one was a couple of years back when with a CJAD 800. No, sorry, WCBS 880 in New York went off the air for maintenance, and we were trying to DX, and 882 was a BBC carrier. It was actually strong enough to be really, really noticed and annoying, but you couldn't make out anything. But it was obvious as one of the BBC channels on 882 that was actually there, which is kind of interesting. Keegan, I'll ask my dad, W9JF, about Winterfest first. You have to be there. You're going to love that, Keegan. Roger says, my ear loss is CW and explosives. Huh, which one is worse? The explosives or CW? V3 JPX. I love my realistic Mark 2s. What? David, we radio listeners might have some hearing loss, but it is worth it. Absolutely. As long as it's still there enough until we end, even though it's lower and it's diminished over time, that's good. That's good. John Beckham says propagation pretty good tonight. Matt, my ears often start to ring when I'm listening to shortwave, and there's any noise and static, which of course is just about every time. RJ Dakota, my hearing loss is more from dogs and kids than anything else. It's normal for all of us, by the way, to have some hearing loss. I mean, we have hearing loss over years, getting older and stuff. But yep, we can make it worse by having too high of volume. Solitary radio listener, nice to have you here from Southern Illinois. Sam, nice to have you here from Malaysia. Pretty cool. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here. What else do we have? David, will vodka cranberry be at Winterfest? Not too much of it because of the presentations. I will on the on the Friday because there's not too much to do, and I'm on my live show and all of that. But when I have the presentation on Saturday, we're gonna go relax on the vodka cranberry. Rob says no pants. Yeah, that's your wish. Just be careful when you actually get up from your chair. That's all. That's all. Solitary radio listener bands are great tonight. Radio New Zealand 15720. Wonder if it's coming in here. 15720. Anything there? Let's see. Pretty quiet tonight. But last week was surprised to hear it quite well, actually. So yeah, Rob, the guy was naked. He actually got. He thought that the meeting hasn't started yet, but he was really naked. It was everybody was like, "What? Okay." You wanted to be naked. Come on. You look at that and you're like, "Come on, you wanted to be naked in front of everybody, please." Yeah. Chris 66. Be sure to wear pants at in-person events. That's important. You might forget with every all the years. Artist autographer, point taken. Chalk it up to screen fatigue, but I get to watch you on TV, not a computer or phone. Trust me. Well, why don't find a way to put it on your TV? You can hook up your computer temporarily to a TV, maybe. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. But I get it. I get it. I mean, when you're on the computer all the time, it's like people talking about SDRs, like, oh, well, I'm always on a computer. I want to do radio on a computer. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's something sometimes that you want to take it easy and be off. Take care, Gary. 24 fan. It's nice to have you here. David McCormick tweet: BBC to launch shortwave radio service in Ukraine and Russia to ensure access and the resilience of its news operations. And you know what? Shortwave isn't important. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. 15,735, 18 to 20, 16. What? It's wasn't it 16 to? So listening can tune the receivers 15,735 from 18 to 20. Is it that new? Is that just announced as a new broadcast? That's kind of interesting. Nasrullah, well, you want to spend the money? If you send to my PayPal account the amount of money that's required to go on a U.S. broadcaster, I will gladly have this show on shortwave via WRMI or WBCQ. All I need is funding to do this. Mad Reader DXer, can you remember which frequency the tone was on? What tone? Trying to get back into what I was talking about. Give me a little more details. It's already closed? Is it? Scanary? Is the Shortwave Festival website saying registration is closed? Man, that is a little sad if they close it so early. Let me just go here. I'm going to check it out. Because that would be, I'm going to be very blunt here, dumb. Well, it says, please complete your registration. But let me check it out here. You still can do it. Here it still has me going to the checkout with PayPal. So even though they say February 28th, that's because they wanted to have an advanced look. But you know what? I think if you do it now, it's still going to work, honestly. Madrid DXer says, yep, 882 BBC Radio Wales. Unfortunately, they have reduced their power over the past year or so, and now will be harder to receive. Solitary radio listener, I have little hearing loss from loud rock concerts. Yeah, concerts are the worst. I've been to a Pretenders, the worst ever in my life. Pretenders with Chrissy Hine, 1985. The first act is Iggy Pop. The first funny thing about it is in front of the next row in front of me, there's these like crazy skinheads with their, spiked hair. They are going crazy over Iggy Pop. And my amazement, because I didn't know at the time that Iggy Pop and David Bowie had written together China Girl. Iggy Pop sings China Girl, which sounds like David Bowie because he's got that big deep voice. So, anyways, Iggy Pop does his show. As the show ends, the two skinheads in front leave. And I hear one saying, The Pretenders, that's such a crappy show. All I wanted to see was Iggy Pop. I was like, okay. Pretenders come on stage. I tell you guys, the loudest concert I've ever heard in my life. It was so freaking loud. When we went outside after the 2-hour concert, I barely could hear the cars in the street. It was completely nuts. I had never gone through a concert that was just so crazy loud. Oh, man. But I went through at least close to 100 concerts. So hearing loss on concerts is a known fact for sure. What else do we have? Texas prison stories. That goes with our radios, our transparent radios that were earlier. Nice to have you on board. David McCormick, funny how I cannot hear my wife but hear the faint signal. That's selective listening. John Beckham says hello to Paul Cat. Roger, can't tell if Cheating CW is responsible. I'm standing next to a 100. Yeah. A lot of loud noises from army stuff. Log 2112 is HFDL still on table 51. I see nothing different. Been a couple of years. I do hear South Korea during morning gray line. I have no idea. We do have a lot of selective listeners here. Brad, blame my 8-track player for my hearing loss. Oh man, 8 tracks. I heard Pink Floyd for the first time in my life on 8 tracks. My brother had a Wish You Were Here album on 8-track cassette, and he had Some Girls 8-track from the Rolling Stones. That was my entry into music. I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. South Korea HFDL. I don't know. I haven't heard South Korea, a lot of South Korea marine stuff also in a long time, but it could be just propagation. Yarabamba, Radio Romania International 5910, clear here in Ontario, talking about the war. Darren Rogers, nice to have you here. KB2AHS, Long Island, New York. Mike, WX50, I went to a cheap trick concert in the 80s, and we're way too close to the large speakers they had. Lots of ringing in the ears after the concert. It could be, my friend, it could be. RGA Dakota not receiving 15720. 25,000 kilohertz tonight. I'll try it. but I doubt it. But you never know. Nope, nothing right now at all. At all. Texas Prison Stories, Radio WRMI, Radio Miami International has Radio Ukraine broadcast, temporary broadcast right now. Absolutely. Jamie Doe, do you think you're going to blow up the world? Well, we'll know on Shortwave. Canadian Radio TV guy, been enjoying the RAC courses. Some presentations are boring, but others are actually kind of interesting. I think tomorrow we got over chapter 9. The Canadian Radio TV guy, the thing is to take what interests you and what's boring, because of course for me it was the same. You just go through it. On the boring ones, what I did with the boring lessons, I would go online, do the test, the 100 question test while the lesson was going on. Still keep an ear because even the boring lessons might have something interesting in them. But take care. How do you feel about your chances of getting your license as you're now moving ahead in that course? Do you think your chances are good? Hey, Sheldon Harvey from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? John Beckham, 6030 coming in Northeast Florida. Greg, when I was a kid, I listened to loud rock music, have ring in my ears. Yeah, as we get older, I think we all have some level of ringing in our ears. Can you read a TV guy? We were talking about RCI when I told Al, do you want to know about Spectres of Shortwave? You mentioned that Amanda Dan Christie took part in the last years. She was actually in the same class as I was, Canadian Radio TV guy. When I took my course last fall, Amanda Dawn Christie was in it too. We talked together a little bit. Because for those that have not seen Amanda Dawn Christie, I have from a few years back the recording of the CIDX barbecue show where I actually have interviewed Amanda Dawn Christie on the Spectres of Shortwave documentary about the shutdown and destruction of Sackville transmitter sites. Check that out. It's a very, very neat thing. It was like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there that happened. Man, time really flies. But Amanda was on the same course that I was. We actually said like, hey, you're here. I would like to ask Amanda. I need to send her a message because she's a Facebook friend of mine. I need to ask her if she went through the course and passed her license yet. So Sheldon Harvey does mention registration is not closed for Winterfest, even though it said February 28th. Like I said, I went through right now my tablet. I could still register. Do register. We want to beat the 240 number of last year. Get in there, guys. Like I said, you don't have to be participant. You can be just somebody watching the presentations and there in the background. Don't be shy and be there. Let's beat that number of 240. We can do it. And I'm sure tonight we can do it. And with all the people going to watch until it starts on Friday, come on, guys. Be there. If you love radio, you're going to love that. And come on, $10. It's nothing. You're going to have the time of your life for $10 and be in the radio sphere and the radio atmosphere for 2 days with tons of people that just are like you, crazy about radio. Nikki Dalmich, when we did in-person forums at Winterfest, if you were nervous, you were told to think at the audience being naked. Well, it's not the audience you wanted naked. God. There's some inside joke here, apparently. Cell call in 5550. John Beckham, Pete Townsend can't hear very well. David McCormick just registered his Winterfest tickets. Count me in. Cool. We got another one. So you get the links. All of that will be there, ready for you for Friday. Pretty cool. Something in on 6935 AM apparently. I hear a very, very faint carrier, but it's too weak here. Too weak here. John Beckham loves China Girl by David Bowie. Chris 66 Robert Plant concert 1991 may have affected my hearing. I went to that concert actually. That was a time 1991. That was a time when I was with my bulletin board guys, and we would go see whatever concerts, and people were like, "Hey, let's go to Robert Plant." Fine. I went to see concerts I would never have been. Robert Plant maybe, but things like Poison. It's like I would never have gone and seen a Poison concert. I was like, "Hey, you want to go see Poison?" Yeah, fine. And so I went to see tons of concerts. What's the band that does? I'm trying to remember. On Skinny Bob. That was not Poison. There was because I went to see Poison, but on Skinny Bob. I'm trying to remember who's the. Anyways, I was like, they were just like, "Hey, we're going to see that band." Yeah, okay. Buy the tickets. I'll be there. Charlie McKee, Pretenders, sure, but hearing loss for a couple of days after the live 10 years after with Flashing Fingers, Alvin Lee, in a large warehouse in downtown LA. NK2, the biggest payday for Iggy Pop was when Bowie re-recorded China Girl. Like you said, they share songwriting credit, so Iggy got a nice payday out of that being a big hit. I was surprised. I didn't know back then. It's like when he came on stage and he sang China Girl, and I was like, whoa, he's singing China. That's David Bowie's song. I didn't know that they were involved in it. The funny thing about Pretenders, when Chrissy Hine got on stage, she kneeled on the stage and said, "I got to kiss the stage that Iggy Pop was on." And she actually kissed the stage before starting. Ah, man. V3JPX, April 1, the Lotus concert. Hey, Dan, nice to have you here. I'm from Ohio, NAWJZ. What else do we have? VT Radio, Rest Never Sleeps. A Neil Young concert movie was the loudest movie I've ever attended. Huh. Scannery, it worked. Still accepting registration. We got another one. Woohoo! Sheldon, I have over 250 concerts seen on my list. I started going to concerts in 64 when I was just 10 years old. My first concert was Michael Jackson in 1983, 84-ish. Ah, man. Others out of Crafters Kitchen. Permanent hearing loss thanks to being in the front row of Cheap Trick concerts on Daytona Beach and College and 2 Ramones concert, loudest concert of my life. You know, I think what happened over time, because that's what I was talking with a friend of mine. For a long time, concerts were just like free for all. And I told a friend of mine, I said, it's funny because I remember when I used to go to concerts that were so loud, it was crazy. And to a certain point, I said, you know what? I do have a little bit of hearing loss on some concerts, but it's suddenly like not that bad anymore. And I wonder if there was at some point, some kind of, um, I would say that they decided that the sound level couldn't go higher than a certain amount of decibels because it was just too bad and too loud, and people were like having hearing loss. And that was a rule because after that, every concert that I went through, some of them were a little loud, but never after about, I don't know, somewhere in the 90s, never did I after that have hearing loss that was that bad as what I had encountered before. So I wonder if they have some rule that's no, you can't go higher than that amount of decibels now. MDK2, My Bloody Valentine is the loudest show I've ever experienced. First time I didn't have ear protection and had to go out to the street. There was when I was 22 and supposedly able to handle such things. Yeah. Oh man. Michael saw Elvis in New York in 72. Wow. E3JPX, best and favorite concert, Pink Floyd, Division Bell, Toronto. I saw Pink Floyd in 87 when they had the tour for that album, which was Momentary Lapse of Reason. It was my first year of college. I was in applied sciences. I had gone crazy over all the studying that had to be done. And the last exam night, the last exam I had to give on the same night, I was going to see Pink Floyd at the Olympic Stadium here. It was like a reward. Was the first time that I had seen Pink Floyd, and I found it so amazing. John Beckham, my hearing might have been affected back in 1989 at the Who concert in Atlanta. Some rock music playing on 6935. So, do you know what? Somebody's listening to us and decided to put music. Aerial imaging, WR broadcast radio Ukraine 5010 at 6 a.m. doesn't come in very well for me. Yeah, 5010. I don't know what is the direction of the broadcast for that, if it's East or West Coast. It's kind of early in the morning. I wish they would have had like 21 or 20 UTC broadcast. That's much easier, especially for me that I don't really wake up early in the morning. Sean Harvey first concert, Rolling Stones in Montreal, 1964. Tickets were $3, $4, or $5. Wow. Favorite concert, Allman Brothers Band, September 71. Jimmy Doe, do you listen to police or emergency services on a scanner? Here it's almost impossible now. The police is on a P25 but encrypted signal, so we can't really hear anything. Emergency services, there could be I believe the fire department can still be heard, but it's getting kind of difficult. I need to go back, solitary radio listener, to see if I got blacklisted. So if you guys haven't seen it, there's a Japanese SDR, the Kiwi SDRs, that states at the top of its SDR that if you got to the Kiwi SDR there to listen to number stations, you would be blacklisted. You know what? Let's go and check it out. Which one was it? I forgot to note which one it was. Let me just check, but I think I remember. We're going to go here, and let's go to a Japanese SDR here. And I'm pretty sure the one that it was. It was one of the top of the island here. Yep, here we go. So it's either this one. So let me just check it out. Was it? I'm going to know immediately. So this one says, no war, please. Okay. And the other one here. Let me check it out here. I got to check that out. I don't know if I've been black. So I listened for an hour to 4 different number stations. What does it say here? Oh, wait. Let me go back. What does it say? So this one I can't get in. Oh, this one I can. That's a no war one. Oh man, I have to check it out because they had it was very serious. So the top in red, it was like, you're going to be blacklisted if you listen to number stations, which I just don't understand why it's such a problem. But anyways, let me just check it out here. So that one was, what does it say here? On this one, so the Kiwi is too busy apparently here. I wonder if that's a way you can be blacklisted. Oh man, I need to find which one it was. But the one that told me was blacklisted. All channels busy. Wow, a lot of people listening to the Japanese SDRs right now. I'm gonna have to find it and I'll let you guys know. Because when I saw that, it was like, really, I can be blacklisted. It was like, I don't understand why. Oh man. John Beckham, David Gilmour of Pink Floyd is very talented. Matt, WRMI's 5010 transmitter beams 181 degrees, almost perfectly due south. So it's away from us, actually. It's actually, it's actually beaming away. That's why it's not that great. Mixed Radio International would use earplugs. You can still hear loud music. Sheldon Harvey, loudest concert, Slade at the Capitol Theatre in Montreal. So loud, the first 4 rows of the theater actually moved back from the stage. Wow. Man Max has his Raspberry Pi 400 running. Texas prison stories. I fell in love with shortwave listening after the Oklahoma City bombing. I was a preteen kid listening to all the militiamen that used to have shows back then. I was traumatized. Yeah, enough to be traumatized for sure. Thomas Alston, nice to have you here. Says they took the $10. Another one. We got another one. Cool. Solitary radio listener. Loudest concert for me was The Who back in 1981 when I was 14. She's a licensed ham, Canadian radio TV guy. Cool. And how do you feel about that? Do you think you're going to be a licensed ham at the end of the course? And have you done, like I told you, the 100 question bank regularly? Texas prison stories. The Monkees in the 80s as a little kid. Wow. Matt says my first real rock show was Van Halen in '84. Nobody knew it at the time, but it would be the last time to see the original lineup. Yeah, because it was the the original lineup with David Lee Roth and everything. Jason V9, a JMC. First concert I went to see was Bare Naked Ladies. Boy, was I disappointed. There was no Bare Naked Ladies. Yeah, they were just. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. I will not say what I'm going to say. Artist Crafter's Kitchen. There's that was how much Marsha Brady passed her driver's license test pretending the instructor was naked. Brady Bunch memories. Oh God. Long 2112. I'm naked from the waist down. She's naked from the waist up. See what kind of I'm laughing. You know. Keith Habit, nice to have you here. Poison. That was Poison too? Oh man. I you can tell how I was impressed when you hear a song that is their big song on Skinny Bop and you're like, oh, that was Poison. Okay. Yeah. Now I remember. Or maybe I want to try to forget. All I remember of Poison is Every Rose Has Its Thorn because I was playing guitar back then. It was like an easy song to play on acoustic guitar. Um, what else do we have? Let me just go here. Aerial imaging is saying, got my RSP1A in the mail today, got it running, and it seems to do great. How come my spectrum seems to only be in sections? I can't scroll completely from 80 meters to 20 meters. Have to stick subband chunks. You should be able, if your PC is good enough, to have 10 megahertz at a time. So if you're on 80 meters, which is 3.5, you can go up to 13.5 at the widest. You can't go to 20 meters. It's 10 megahertz maximum, and your PC needs to be able to handle it. Mickey Dalmish, 6935, doing fair into Alberta. Bluegrass Dan, Linda Ronstadt, 78, very hot. And so was the music. Such a real listener remembers Iggy Pop in the second Crow movie. Oh, man. John Beckham, they say Michael Jackson cleared $67 million back in 84. Wow. So we have Mark registered. Another one. Let's go to the Winterfest. All of us. Come on, guys. 240 is the number to beat. And if we beat it, I'm pretty sure I've got some reason to be proud that I am part of why it happened. Come on, guys. Skip, dozens of loud concert, but Iron Butterfly in 1969 was the loudest. Keegan says, my dad, W9JEF's hearing loss is due in part to concerts. Yeah, well, it is known that concerts were probably the number one reason of hearing loss for a lot of people. Matt says, it was a while before I learned Bowie and Iggy were tight. Iggy never broke through for some reason. He's a phenomenal performer. Yeah, there are things like that sometimes that you wonder that there are phenomenal performers that never make it. You hear about them, but they never make it real big. And you're like, well, wow, why is it? And, part of it, I think, has to do with the people surrounding you that is helping you in your career. That is very important. Sorry, radio listener, Joan Jett and Pat Benatar were two of my young teenage crushes. Still really like them today. I would have loved to see Pat Benatar live. She must be amazing. Patrick Moore just saw Tool the other night, and it wasn't that loud. Same with Steely Dan, which was even quieter. Lock 2112, Jethro Tull, and the Sam Houston Coliseum. We're talking music tonight. Ah, man. Skip, John Force's Fuel Funny Car probably did a job on me as well. Yeah, that's possible. Patrick Moore, momentary lapse of reason. Used to listen to that on a repeat. Solitary radio listener, Motley Crue were loud. So is AC/DC. Both came here in the mid 80s. Camped out at night to get tickets. Yeah, that was the time when we camped out outside at night for tickets for concerts. Oh, man. And you know what the worst part was? That me and my brother, we often wanted to go see the same concerts, but I was the one stuck going there at 3 a.m., waiting in line for those tickets all the time. Dan Royal saw Sticks at a high school when they were first starting. Wow. John Beckham was very fortunate to see original Jimi Hendrix Experience in Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. Pretty cool. Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding. This was so cool. 6935 fading for RJ Dakota. Like 2112 has nothing on 6935. Me damage. Once we had better soundboard guys to deal with bad acoustics in arenas, every outdoor concert I have seen is usually good except for wind issues. Scannery KB1 PPJ says loudest concert I went to was a Clash in Providence, Rhode Island, but the loudest part was when some kid lit an M80 in the seat in front of me. Youch. MDK2, I found out recently that the final performance of the original Jimi Hendrix Experience was here in Denver. Interesting, a bit of rock and roll trivia there. Led Zepp's first North American concert was here too. Wow. John, WPE4KNC. Yes, see everybody at a Winterfest. We want people at Winterfest. Absolutely. Absolutely. Landy's eating Reese's peanut butter cups. That's tasty. That's good. Yeah, Pirates, a lot of fun. Absolutely. Yeah, Matt. I posted the picture in the Shortwave group. So on one of the Japanese SDRs, it says at the top, anybody listening to number stations will be blacklisted. I actually went to that SDR to listen to 4 Russian number stations that were broadcasting in that hour. I spent a full hour there just doing that. So I need to go back to see if I'm blacklisted now. I don't get why they would blacklist. I really don't get it why. I don't know. Deegan saw the message about the QSLs in Japan about the blacklist warning for listening to number stations. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't get it. I really don't get it. John Beckham, Eric Clapton said that he thought that J.J. Cale was one of the best guitar players ever. What else do we have? Yeah, like 2112. It's kind of interesting to see how distance, and sometimes not a lot of distance, makes such a difference in signal level. Roger, K5MOW. Nice to have you here from Texas. What else do we have? WF7I Homebrew finally got an 8-inch Celestron SCT telescope aligned. Cool. It's a lot of fun. I haven't looked in a telescope in so long. Oh, man. John Doe, how do you feel about posting your call sign online unless you are behind a PO box? Creepers can show up. What call sign? You mean a ham call sign? What type of call sign you're talking about? We have Samurai Homebrew says, I do hope to attend a shortwave event this weekend also. Cool. Cool. John Beckham, you're the greatest spokesman for shortwave radio, hands down. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. I mean, let's have fun with what we have. Let's stop whining about, things of the past or things not being the same. Aerial imaging, yes, on the main panel of your RSP1A, and I can't do it there. I can't do it here. So on your RSP1A, you have the main panel where you have the antenna you can switch between the different antenna port. Like on the SP1A, there's just one antenna port, but the main panel where it tells you um, where you can actually put the bias T on or not, and so on. There, you have decimation and you have all of that. Depending on what you have, you can tell it if you want to have 1 megahertz of spectrum up to 10 megahertz of spectrum. Once you click, you're going to see it's going to get wide. It's going to get much wider. You can get up to 10 megahertz at a time. Your PC needs to be able to handle that, though, because an older PC, you're going to see these at the end. Each end will actually kind of fall. It's going to tell you that your PC can't handle up to a certain amount, but that's the main panel where you actually can start or stop the SDR, and you'll see. So you could be in LIF or ZIF, 0 and 0, or low IF frequency. You'll see that you can change that from 1 to 10 in there. Check it out. And that's from memory. Take care, solitary radio listener. What else do we have? Can I talk about UVB 76? Well, it's a Russian signal. It's thought to be military. There are people out there that definitely know what it is exactly. Right now, it's being jammed or being kind of overridden by a lot of pirates and a lot of weird signals to try to kind of interfere with it. But it's probably some kind of channel marker where it just stays there. We know that in the past there's been some messages being broadcast, voice messages in Russian. So it's definitely some part of the of the of the of the signal. Nice to have you here, Log 2112. What else do we have? Let's go down. Take care, Art. Always nice to have you on board as usual. And yes, once again, I will have a show on Saturday. I will take time off from the Winterfest to come here for a couple of hours. Show might be a little shorter than usual because, I'm going to also want to go back there. But there will be a show on 20 hours UT on Saturday. Hunter's Autocrafters Kitchen still need to dig out my QSL albums. I have several Radio Kiev and Radio Moscow QSLs. Love to look at them. Cold War memories. Yep, absolutely. It's kind of cool to see all of that for sure. For sure. Take care, Michael. RJ Dakota Rush was his first concert. John Beckham. It has been a musical trivia night, as I have been enjoying it indeed. I mean, we have lives where we do a lot of other stuff and listen to different things, and music is part of it. And there's a lot of people that kind of like to listen to shortwave for the musical choices that different stations can bring. Like, just look at Voice of Greece. I'm not a fan of music on shortwave in general, but for example, the other night I was doing something and I was hearing some very beautiful Brazilian music on Radio Nacional Amazonas. And it was like, you know what? This is cool. And this is interesting to listen to. Take care, VT Radio. Nice to have you on board, Paul, as usual. And I will also say good night for tonight, as a big weekend is coming up. I think I'm going to take it easy and going to do some really serious stuff tonight, just to show you guys how serious my rest of the night is going to be. I fired up my Amiga here with some demos. This is going to be my very serious night. Playing some Amiga games, maybe a little bit. I'm going to play around with that. So that's my very serious end of the night tonight, because I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night. And I wanted you guys to take care. I want you guys to stay safe. Hope you enjoyed the show. It's always fun to be here. So be there at Winterfest, because there's going to be a lot of stuff this weekend. And there's going to be a live show at 20 UTC. Me and Sheldon are going to be there at Winterfest. There's the Bob Brown Hospitality Suite that you can join in, say hi. It's kind of an open place where we're just going to be happy to see you. And once again, you're the shy type. You are not the kind of person who want to interact much. You know what? You can just join the Winterfest, watch the presentations, stay there in the background, no camera needed, and watch the radio fun with a lot of other people that are going to be there to have fun also with radio. So turn on that radio and listen, guys, because there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's particularly interesting times right now going on. So take care, everybody. Hope to see you guys at Winterfest. That'd be cool. Even though it says February 28th, still you can still register, okay? Let's beat that 240 number. We can do it. So take care, my friends. I think, it's late, but I feel like eating chicken wings. I think I'm going to put some chicken wings in the oven. Take care, my friends. Stay safe. See you this weekend here on the Shortwave Festival, anywhere with a radio. Bye-bye.